What do you think Stephen Ross, when he has his giant binoculars out yesterday, which, by the way, it's hilarious that he's the only guy I know who's still rocking the binoculars during the game.
No, I've seen other owners do it.
Ooh, with those giant binoculars? Dude, those things look like he was on a spy mission.
He wanted to be close to the action.
Maybe like a little pocket-sized ones, get yourself a little up-close view.
What are you going to see with that, dude?
Dude, look
You're
like he was
reading the menu.
Dude, look like he was bird
watching. You need
watching.
to see little ants way down on the field.
It's Garfinkel's job to carry those binoculars, yes?
You think he uses those opera ones that have the little stick on them?
Yes, that's what I picture, yes. Like a
what
rich,
do you think you...
Like a rich man.
You know what? Now I see why you thought it was encouragement.
Dude.
I understand.
Dude, I know there's other people who think that.
Because you figure because he's in London, he has to look the little
Look at the size of those things.
Those aren't even big.
Those are big, dude. What are you talking about?
Normal size binoculars.
No way.
Yes, they are.
No way. You're nuts.
Dude, what are you thinking of the little bitty?
This is him telling who are we gonna fire here? Garfinkel. You want to keep a gig? You want to keep making F-150? You want to keep making new stadiums around my stadium? Who we firing?
F-150.
What's that thing they're doing?
It's just F1.
Whatever. Cars. I don't got time for this right now.
Very inconvenient to be doing that.
Very inconvenient.
Can't park anywhere.
They already just got done with the tennis courts. When are they going to be done building stuff there?
Where's my water park?
Where is my Where's the water park? And when are they going to be done building stuff?
If I must say, when your football team is playing the way it's playing, you better have other means of income.
Don't worry, guys.
So what Stephen Ross has done is maximize the business opportunity in that area.
Yeah, well, you know what he might want to do if he wants some competitive stuff during the fall? Maybe rent out Hard Rock Stadium to the Panthers, which is kind of a crazy thing to say.
How about the Heat and Panthers Twitter just taking shots right after they lost?
Listen, he made his own bed with that one. Because he took the old shoddy shot at the Heat. As soon as the Heat lost LeBron James, he was ready to swagger in your old big money Ross. Be like, they're not the same organization. Oh, they're not? Oh, they're not, Steven? All right, dude. Well, listen, keep grinding away. Keep hope trafficking and rebuilds, because that's what you do.
He fell for the main trick in that game. You are the same organization, you just don't have the same players.
Yep.
And there's a difference.
Yeah, there is. There is. And his solution to all this was somehow give the keys over to a guy who's been here for the entire mess the whole time. Crazy, dude. Hit the idea, Stunt Steve.
This is The Ticket. WAXY South Miami. WSFS HD2 Miramar. With Tobin and Leroy. The Zaslow Show. And Hawken Crowder.
The headlines are brought to you by the Orion Fuels and Downstairs Convenience Stores. Truly steps beyond convenient. Your Miami Dolphins losers to the Jacksonville Jaguars. 23-20 in jolly old England. Tua Tagovailoa, 33 of 47, 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Mike Gesicki, 8 catches, 115 yards. Jalen Waddle, 10 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence and that hair, 319 yards passing, 1 TD. James Robinson, he had 20 touches, 101 yards, and 1 touchdown. And, pain. Jesus. That team hasn't won since opening week of last year, and you let them get one across the pond. Are you effing kidding me?
It was a home game for them.
Sure. You know what? Sure it was. And by the way, did you see that the Dolphins, they opted out of having the bye this week? Like, we'll use that bye later. We're going to be warming up for them playoffs. Don't need a bye after London. I can't wait. You got a well-rested Falcons team. By the way, we all know Kyle Pitts is going for 200 yards this week. Yes? This is happening. Just to Matt Ryan, the old what if and the new what if are going to unite and just put 200 yards between them right on the Dolphins' grave.
R.I.P. your group chat with Robbie in there.
Oh, I don't. You know what? It's a funny thing. I don't even think he's
didn't-
enjoying this anymore. I think he thinks this is it's
too
all,
much?
It's all yeah. He's like they're it's like the meme. They're already dead. I think he's just like, man, I kind of feel bad being this right about the Dolphins. It's terrible. It's so depressing.
It is.
It's so depressing. And did anybody else feel like they had jet lag yesterday just watching the game from London? Because like I got to the end. Yeah, because I got to the end of the game. I was like, man, so much day left. So much day left.
Nah, I woke up right at the
We
fourth
do
quarter.
that every day. What are you talking about?
Nah, it was different, dude. I'm telling you. You know, when you watch that bleep show and you're just like, oh, and now there's more football. And then, you know, I had to go reset. I did a little Publix run.
The writing was on the wall. So I found a different way to watch the game as not to ruin my day.
Oh, I saw it.
So I FaceTimed Tobin. I was in the golf cart with my cooler filled with beverages, with my iPad on the golf cart with the game on.
Yep. He was living his best life. Not me. I was just sitting on my couch watching this crap. Just like I've
Look,
been doing for the last, I don't know how many years. My Saturdays, my Sundays.
I gave it the first 2 or 3 weeks, you know, where I rush home, get some wings, take a shower, get in my spot, get ready for some football.
Sure.
I've done that. Not as much fun.
You know the thing that also sucks with the London game? Nowhere to hide. No red zone distractions. No nothing. You just sit there and you eat your football. You eat your terrible football.
And all NFL
Yep.
Twitter is just making fun of you.
Yep.
Because everybody's watching that game.
Everybody's sitting
all
there.
All of NFL Twitter is right. Hashtag
we were the laughing
first
stock
win.
the whole day.
Is there a Dolphin?
Yep.
Let me ask you this: is there a Dolphin fan alive right now who's complaining because the refs missed a football touching Agnew's finger? There's no, that Dolphin fan
No.
doesn't exist today, right? Like, there's not a Dolphin fan alive who's like, yeah, but we got screwed on that challenge, right? Like, I can't.
You know why?
Like the Dolphin bandits, they're not saying that today with their face paint, right? Right? Like,
No.
What about the guy in the gorilla costume?
the guy in the gorilla costume or Big Papa Pump's not even saying today, yeah, but we got screwed on that Agnew finger. Like, nobody is saying that today, right? Because, look, even I agree, yes, the Agnew finger, he probably touched his finger. I don't feel like Mac Hollins makes that big of a stink if it doesn't touch his finger. But I'm not letting the game come down to a fingertip. And what Flores was doing on that Myles Gaskin challenge, I don't know what the hell that was.
You ever here's the deal. What Flores was doing was the equivalent to playing poker and betting because of what you could win versus what you could lose, right? So a lot of times in poker, a lot of guys will stay in, not because they win or lose, but they'll risk it because the reward is so much greater than what you would be putting in to lose.
Well, you know what?
And I think at those moments, it happened a couple of times yesterday. I saw a couple of coaches do it, that the circumstances dictated that you challenge and not necessarily the play. So 4th and 1, you're going to have to give them the ball. Let's see if there's something there.
I think he got mad. I think he got mad because he thought he got the refs being cute and getting, because they initially called it a catch. And they're like, then the refs gather like, hey, bro, that wasn't a catch. Which would immediately make me nervous to challenge it because they've already discussed this.
Right.
The meeting of the minds have happened. It's not like they relied on one bozo. They had a meeting of the mind of bozos. So I couldn't imagine that they're going to go back and overturn this thing because you know how it works. It's that stupid not enough evidence thing.
We call that the old Joe Philbin.
Dude, he
Use
was
up all your timeouts and challenges before halftime.
I'm telling you, people got mad at that Joe Philbin, Brian Flores meme. It's becoming real. It's becoming real. It's scary. It's scaring me how much he's becoming Joe Philbin.
Down.
I'm
not falling for that yet. I'm not there yet.
Nice guy. Nice guy.
Your rat's off a ship already?
Nice guy, bad coach.
Is that what?
I'm not rats off a ship.
I'm not there yet.
I'm not rats off a ship.
Calling him Joe Philbin.
I got to tell you.
We at least have to acknowledge.
You know what you're doing? You're a fancy rat.
No.
Because you know what you're doing? They're dropping anchor, and you're just on the anchor. So you're not rats off a ship, but you're going to go down, gracefully.
I'm not calling
You're
Brian.
not just going to jump off.
I'm not calling Brian Flores Joe Philbin. Okay?
You just did.
I'm not calling him Joe Philbin, but he's doing
What?
things that are.
You just did.
No.
Literally just did.
He is. We must say.
At least give it a couple of sentences.
We must.
Maybe a segment.
No. We must
Not
say.
the very next sentence.
We must say he's doing things that are Philbin-esque.
You're trying to do the dodge the bullet
exactly
thing
what
here.
I'm just saying he's doing some things that are Philbin-esque. He's Coach Flobin.
Flobin as in Tobin or
I ain't going
Philbin?
there yet. I'm not going there yet. But I got to tell you, take a couple of breaths in between contradicting hot takes. Like just a breath. Let it marinate for a second. Let your one bad take marinate for a second before you come over the top and say, no, I didn't say that.
Kind of reminds me of Philbin, but I'm not saying he's Philbin.
I'm not saying he's Philbin yet, but
you know what else I realized? And I know you guys don't want to hear this in sports. But all those guys that miss games, if they were 5-0, they would have played.
Oh,
because winning makes you healthier.
Oh, so you're saying
it's just nature, man.
You think
it's not a knock on any of them, right? But some of the bangs and bumps and bruises, Devontae Parker has been having these his whole career. But if the team is doing well, he don't miss no games. It's human nature. It's human nature. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to put it on how tough these guys are. I'm not willing to say that, but I'm telling you, you ever notice a 6-0 team or a team that's undefeated or a team that's competing, they get right into the week and everybody's banged up, but they all play? What's so funny?
Game Boy 305 says, Tobin is the rat that looks for a baby rat just so he can get on the raft while he screams out, I'm with child. Leroy is a rat that goes down with the ship.
Point for Twitcher.
Hey, it's so true. Like here's what you tried to do. Let's look at the end result. The end result is Tobin's off that damn ship.
I'm not off the ship.
Let's
just called him Phil.
I'm worried about, but I'm going to tell you something right now.
Wait.
I am worried about the SS Flow. I'm worried about it.
No, but here's the deal. That's not what gets you in trouble. Because you won't admit to being rats off a ship. But some kind of way you floating on a floaty 2 miles away from the boat. And when everybody asks, where's Tobin? Well, he wasn't rats off a ship. Why the hell is he floating on the floaty over there?
No.
He has his own rowboat.
I'm not accepting that.
Without being construed.
He has his own rowboat.
Get off the boat without everybody saying you rats off a ship.
No, I'm not rats off a ship.
But you want to be off the ship.
I'm not rats off a ship. I'm not first of all, I'm not rats off a ship on flow. However, my rats are having to evaluate the situation. The Greer
blowing up the pump.
The SS Greer. The rats are off Chris Greer. The rats have jumped off the ship. I'm off. Rats off a ship on Chris Greer.
Yeah, you can't. Look, I'm going to tell you, as positive advice as I've been with what they've done, you cannot draft 2 first-round picks that have contributed as little as the 2 that you've had recently. You can't. And you can't go into a season or the last 3 seasons without thinking you don't even have to draft a running back. There've been plenty of running backs available in most rounds, right? First, second, third round. You've had multiple picks. Instead of taking a flyer on a cornerback or a defensive back who hasn't contributed, you could have taken, and here's what I'm thinking about this. That some teams will not draft a running back, not because he won't be any good, because you don't want to have to deal with having to pay him in 4 years. I promise you. Like they weigh the options and thinking, if we get this guy now and he balls out, we're going to have to pay a big contract to a running back. So they say, you know what? Let's get a cheap one now, and we won't have these problems because we'll always be, going on the cheaper end, even if it ends up panning out. And you have certain teams that just will never do it. You have other teams that believe the running game is important. The running game is where we're going to start. We're going to start up front being physical and running the football in a physical nature. And so they will always go get a running back. Then you have other teams that just think, we'll find one anywhere.
Yeah,
and then people believe that.
Yeah,
but if you look around the NFL, the teams that have a solid running game seem to be doing better.
But then
that ain't never changed.
Someone explained to me how you throw the ball 50 times, throwing it all game, and you decide on 4th and 1. Hey,
we're gonna trick them.
Let's get them back to that running thing, huh? Idiots. Let's talk to Jay.
Right.
Jay, what's going on, man?
I'm venting, man. I got anger. Man, I've been a Dolphin fan since '76, and it hurts to be a Dolphin fan. You gotta like punishment to stay with this. Either way, Greer, first round picks, nothing. He trades away Kenyon Drake, which, by the way, we have no running backs that can't get a freaking inch. Freaking, I said.
Yep, we got you.
And they had 3 first-rounders that did nothing with. And I'll be honest, Tua played okay, but he had some major little mistakes there that cost the game. I don't know. It's time to get rid of Greer. It may even be time, unfortunately, to get rid of Flores. Brian Dable's out there.
You want house cleaned?
Brian Dable. Yeah, Brian Dable's out there. What's the guy for the offensive coordinator from New Orleans? Is it Carolina now?
Yeah, McCorkle.
It's just time, man. I've had it.
All right. Well, he's upset.
All right.
I disagree that Tua cost him the game.
Yeah, because before Leroy goes, the interception didn't lead to any points.
Nope.
And that one play where he had the first down and he dumped it off, he got the 4th down completion afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it didn't cost him anything.
I think it shows that
I told you before the game.
He bounced back off some great some terrible mistakes, but he bounced back. I mean, I think that shows a lot of great signs from Tua. But listen, nobody wants to hear about Tua really put up the yards against the Jaguars. Like, I get it,
right.
but I do think that
Vegas can't be choosers though. He played good.
I just think that if you're mad at Tua, you're just mad at the Dolphins in general. Like that's all that comes down to.
I would say, I said before we started, Tua didn't make any bad decisions. He had a bad throw because the ball he threw right to the guy he was trying to throw over his head.
Right.
So it looked terrible. But when they showed the widescreen of it, you see the guy's wide open over the top of him. So it was poorly executed throw, but not a bad decision. To say, look, I want him to get a run. I want him to get some run to where he at least looks as if though he's getting comfortable, and then you can really evaluate him. Like, he looked relaxed and he could play yesterday, right? He wasn't asking for a whole bunch of time. He wasn't asking to sit back there like Trevor Lawrence.
I thought he looked good yesterday. I did.
Another story.
I definitely thought Tua looked good yesterday.
Right.
But it's just.
So let's see if we can get this a few weeks in a row, just so you can get a better idea of what
I think
is truly.
But the thing that sucks is we would be heading right to moving Onville if they actually had their first round pick next year and they were slated for this number 2 pick. People would be like, good, let's move on. Clean house.
No,
him
there's
too.
there's no
But
good quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback class this year is pretty weak.
They don't know.
Yeah.
People always say they don't know.
You want to get Sam Howell?
They don't know.
That's your replacement?
They don't know. And I'm sure that was a brutal flight back yesterday with the loss. I mean, 8 hours you have to just soak in that, Well, I don't know what Flores does. I think he passes on the drink cart and he just says, "Hey, just nothing but film here today. I'm just gonna watch film." And I mean, if they had a bye week, it feels like if they definitely had a bye week this week and then they turned it down, they put it for later in the year. But if they had a bye week, this feels like a week where Stephen Ross is like, I don't care. I need to do something. I don't know if that's fire a coordinator. I don't know if that's fire Chris Greer. I don't think it's fire Flores, but I think he's thinking about it. Like he's just like, man, maybe he ain't all what I cracked. Maybe he's not all what I thought he was. Not cracked up to be.
Question. At some point, do you have to ride it out for either with the coach or the GM, or are we going to keep playing this game? Because if you fire the GM and bring another GM in, then we're going to have the conversation about the GM wanting to be his guy, and then we're going to start that, and it's just a continuous cycle. Don't you have to have – here's what you need to ask yourself. Now, the questions are different for Flores than there are for the GM. Okay, Chris Greer. They're different. Because with Flores, the questions are, can he put together a team or can he coach them up to where they're playing in a way that when they do get talent can turn it around? And the question for Chris Greer is, can we trust him with getting the players to keep this process moving?
Well, that seems like a big no. Like that one already seems determined. That one
it does. And again, you have too many first rounders that are either not contributing or not contributing enough to warrant their position in the draft.
Yep,
That's on whoever made that decision.
But first rounders, free agency signings, and Will Fuller, like other decisions too that aren't just just draft picks. But the thing is, like, everybody loved how the foundation was laid for the rebuild. It just feels like they built crap. Like they had this opportunity, which they seemed like they gathered all the assets that they could. Even really catastrophic disasters like, oh, Minka Fitzpatrick wants to leave after a year. All right, got a first-round pick for him. You still got equal value. Like you did, you were able to kind of salvage that. And, I mean, you can look at little hits there and be like, you know what? Christian Wilkins is starting to kind of seem like an impact defender. He's getting sacks. He's forcing fumbles. Like maybe this is the year like he really becomes that guy they always thought he was going to be. But it doesn't, but for the most part, there's so many whiffs with him that, I don't know how you could trust him to have control of the rest of this because they do have assets coming down the road. Even though they don't have their own pick this year, they do have multiple picks the year after that. So, I would say that's a big definite no, Leroy. As far as Flores is concerned, there's a couple things that are concerning. And that is, one, it's always troubling when you have the year of expectations and they're so underwhelming. It was encouraging to see a guy who had a roster that was looking historically bad, and he finished it with something that looked like respect. Okay?
Correct.
Last year, did it with a rookie quarterback and a journeyman, strung together 10 wins. Most years that get you into the playoffs. Didn't last year. But overall, other than the horrible ending in Buffalo, pretty good year. But all of the hype that we had going into this year with the weapons they added on offense, with all of the things that they had tooled around Tua, there were a lot of expectations this year, and they are one of the worst teams in the league. And part of it does feel like there's an element of coaching to that as well.
I would say this is, if you have a way of playing and for 2 years your guys have played that way, and I mean aggressively on defense, with your defense being, your strength of your team. And I've always said this about this team right here. If you play strong defense and you can run the football, you can beat anybody. They've never been able to run the ball. But defensively, it almost seems as like they thought they were better, so they tried to play more honest and more, just in front. They didn't do a lot of, you haven't seen the amoeba defense yet. They did a little bit of it, a little different versions of it to try to get to Trevor Lawrence, and it worked. Why wouldn't you continue to be who you are, when you get to that point where there are demands on you? And that's the thing that's disappointing for me on defense, is that it's hard for me to tell if they took a step back because of the scheme or they took a step back because of the talent. Whether the talent wasn't as good as we thought,
but
whether they got fat cat syndrome.
But isn't this the
or
thing though,
something
Leroy?
like
When you have a game where you're going in, your two highest paid defenders and Xavier Howard and Byron Jones are out. Like, isn't a game like yesterday the game where you are supposed to bust out the bag of tricks because you don't have the talent?
Yeah, and they started to do it when they got in trouble. But I'm saying, like, that was here. Just think about this. Think about a team like, I'll use the greatest show on turf, the Rams. What if after they had success, the very next year they came out and said, we're going to run the ball and do a lot of play action because we're good enough to beat them outside. And it's an epic fail, right? You have to be who you are, and you have to be the team that you were when it got you there. You just have to perfect it and tweak that. You can't go to a different style of defense. And I think that they went from being overly aggressive a year before to try to, hey, we're going to get after them with 4. We're going to, drop back in coverage. We're going to do these things. And they're not getting pressure on the quarterback, which should be a sign that you go back to it. And they're giving any quarterback, an average quarterback, all day to throw the ball, and he's completing passes and picking them apart in the middle of the field.
Tex writes in, Flores' first 2 years coaches a bunch of nobodies and did decent. He is not the problem. I don't think he's the A1 problem, but I will say this.
No, I don't think so.
But this is an also thing that also can't be missed. Like, Barry Jackson has reported multiple times. Like, the guy has a lot of personnel input as well. Like, he's not just taking as what was Bill Parcells' old thing, the grocery list. Like, he doesn't have any input. It's not like he doesn't have any input on the grocery list. Like, he does have input on what the roster looks like. He's got a role in
who's being selected also. We don't know which part of it. It kind of sounds like the old co-offensive coordinator thing where you can't put the responsibility solely on one person, but you don't quite know where to put it. But you do know that most of it has to go to Chris Greer.
Yeah, I feel Greer's
I don't know, man. I'm just disappointed. I'm not as disappointed as some would say about the first round picks not working out. I'm more disappointed of just how they're going into these games on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm not even a defensive guy, and I can see that they aren't as aggressive as they were. And there's certain teams that I would play year after year after year, and you knew for a fact that they were going to be aggressive and they were going to come after you, and you were going to have to make plays against pressure. And if you did it, you would win. But if you didn't, because they had guys that could cover and they would get to you quick enough, then you were going to have a long day. And so I thought that this is where that defense was. They were going to, look, you force turnovers. You don't get turnovers. You force turnovers by the pressure. You force turnovers by, tricking the quarterback to think it's one coverage and it's another. There's a lot of different ways you force and you put pressure on an offense to get turnovers. You very rarely get a turnover just dropping back in the pass protection and rushing with 4 or 5 guys.
I've never heard the term encroachment. I don't know what that is. Like, when I looked it up, I was like, oh, it's an actual word. Like, it's a thing. I get why they use the term now.
It's always been encroachment.
No, I don't think so.
It's
No, it
always
has
been.
But I always thought it was encouragement. You can see how he could make the mistake
No,
because
I'm starting not to believe
no,
you because you're
That's
smirking.
just it. No, stop. Let's stop this nonsense right now. Nobody can see how you can make that mistake. So stop including
When do
everybody
you ever
in your ridiculousness.
When do you ever encroach in life? I've never heard that.
On a football field?
Okay, so
You don't have. Hey, guess what? You don't walk into the grocery market and get a pass interference either. But you know what the hell that is? Jeez.
but I know what interference is.
What if you yelled offsides to a lady jumping you in line?
It cuts.
You
yeah.
don't. It's a football term.
Yeah, but offsides has nothing that you could really confuse it with. You see the difference
Listen.
there.
In real life, a handball will get you arrested.
Tom, what's going
Okay.
on, man?
Oh, man, I'm just struggling to get through the day. And, Tobin, honestly, I think you're onto something, man. I think you're 10 years ahead with this encouragement. I think after
Thank you.
a taunting penalty
About
in
to
10
hang
years,
up on this guy.
they'll tell everybody 10-second encouragement. You gotta all come together. It's all right, young fella. All the players will come and, pick up the spirits, But that's kind of what I need right now, man. The Dolphins, oh, man, I knew it was bad when I came into work and nobody was giving me a hard time. Normally people give me a hard time. Hey, how about the Dolphins? Nobody said anything, man. That's how bad it is.
That's
But,
tough. That's tough.
I mean, Dolphin fans out there, honestly, man, you're still the greatest sports franchise of all time. You still got the winningest head coach, greatest QB, greatest Super Bowl team. Don't put your head down too low. But you do have the worst offensive line, the worst pass rush, the worst offensive play calling I've ever seen in my life. And you don't have a first-round pick and the second worst front office in the league. Like, that's not even an argument. You can fix two of those things this week by getting rid of whoever wants to run the football on first and second down when we're losing and get rid of Chris Greer. He's absolutely failed us in every way.
Thanks, Tom.
Hey,
We do have a first round.
he
It's just not
started
ours.
off all nice and calm.
He was.
And then he just cranked it up. By the time he got to the end.
You know it's bad when he goes into the office and Dennis doesn't even want to give him a hard time. Dennis the Jets fan.
Yeah.
He goes, good to see you guys down in last place. Nah, he doesn't even have to say anything to him. Sorry.